What's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video, another quick take. I got my main man, a new guest to the channel, a subscriber. LeVar, what's happening, brother?
What's going on, y'all?
Shit, chilling, my man. See, you're the only guy that I know personally that is not a freaking boxing casual. So you were the perfect person to come on here
Yeah.
and talk about this shit, this quote unquote controversy, this quote unquote robbery. So we've got an article
Yeah.
courtesy of yahoo.com, which says, oh my gosh, which says controversial scoring overshadows Devin Haney's world-class display against Vasily Lomachenko. The article goes on to say that it's not a normal Saturday night if there's not a controversy about the officiating in a boxing match, particularly if said match is in Nevada. Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko went through a bitter, tough fight for the undisputed lightweight championship Saturday that left 14,436 fans who watched it in the MGM Grand Arena in a full-throated war when it ended. But what should have been a celebration of two outstanding fighters who put on a memorable fight was marred yet again by questions surrounding the scoring. Haney won a unanimous decision by scores of 115 to 113 twice and 116 to 112 to retain his titles. Lomachenko, bitch ass, teared up in his locker room afterward, recalling his 11-year-old son Anatoly's words from earlier that day. All right, so then I'm gonna just jump down to where it says the fight was agonizingly close, and there was little to choose from between the fact that Lomachenko outlanded Haney 124 to 110, but Haney landed at a higher percentage, 27 to Lomachenko's 22%. Punch stats are best used as a guide and not as a definitive barometer of what went on in the bout. Haney outlanded Lomachenko in 5 rounds. Lomachenko outlanded Haney in 5 rounds. In 2 of the rounds, they landed the same number. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Because let the record show you actually were rooting for Lomachenko at first. So what's your opinion
Yes.
on this, man?
The first thing I want to say is a lot of people say that Loma was robbed, right? We heard that a lot. I think I heard Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia. But the thing is, in order to get robbed, the fight has to not be close. But this fight was obviously like close. And Lomachenko himself, he didn't really push the pace as much as he should have. He looked a bit better than he did against Teal.
That's the
But
fight that he
to be
lost, right?
honest, yeah, that's
He
when he
lost.
lost his belts.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, he didn't really do too much in my opinion. Every time he tried to throw that 1-1-2, Devin Haney would intercept him with a right uppercut, which
Right.
is one punch that I thought, yeah, if Haney landed that, I thought it was like Loma wasn't going to push forward. And I mean, that happened.
Yeah.
And for people to say robbery, it just, I don't know, people are getting like a bit naive and vague to when it comes to the scoring because the scoring isn't just about punches landed. It's about
Right.
the overall art of the fight, how everything happened. And
That's a
Devin
fact.
Haney really shut down Lomachenko's initial offense, in my opinion.
Right.
So,
Right. See, a lot of these people that are saying robbery, they don't know how to score a fight. So kind of like you said, it's about the whole picture. For me, my criteria is ring generalship, punches landed, punches missed, and then I'll also throw in like significant punches landed. Okay. So it's like if you catch me with a good shot, that might kind of, sway me, or it might sway a judge, you know what I'm saying, from scoring it in my favor. If you
yeah.
caught me with that good shot, that might have changed the narrative of that round. So let's say if it's a 3-minute round and then I'm controlling the pace, you know what I'm saying, for 2 minutes, but then the last, you know what I'm saying, let's say minute and 30 seconds, like you take over the round and you catch me with a good shot, I'm staggered with a good shot. The judges might give you that just because of that. So you don't know. Now, for me, my scorecard was 116, 112. What people don't understand is that the reason why there's such a big gap is because from round 5 to round 9, Devin Haney took over. He took over. Now, it's hard to remember, obviously, what happened, you know what I'm saying, in the fight, like, you know what I'm saying, back to back to back. But that's where the gap came from. So people don't understand that's where it was for me. Because even if I decided to give Lomachenko an extra swing round, he would have still lost. Then I would have gotten the 115, 113, you know, saying scorecard. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Now,
because exactly.
So
And
most
then
people,
like
go ahead.
it like from round I think 10, 11, and 12. Some people thought that Loma won all of them. I think he probably won 2 out of the 3 at most.
He
But
no,
even
he
with
won. He
that
won 10 and
being
11. He did
said,
not win 12.
yeah. And with that being said, like I really couldn't see Loma winning the entire fight just with those 2 rounds because at the end of the fight, he tried to turn it up like he was doing this the whole fight. And then if you was watching, like you heard the judges trying to get loud and stuff, Loma this, Loma. I'm like, bro, what? He
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah, yeah.
doing that
Oh,
the entire
like the
fight.
commentators, right?
Yeah,
Who were
exactly,
clearly
bro.
pulling for Lomachenko the whole entire time. But the 12th
That's
round,
what I'm saying. This man
Devin,
landed one shot. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
understand he's staggered Haney one time, but that's really it. And I was
Devin
talking
Haney.
about it like with you in messages.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, exactly. He stunned Haney one time, but then he was like, well, the judges were like, look at this, look at that. Loma, oh my left hand. I'm like, bro,
it's
like
because
Haney
it's.
just took a step back. That's all he
But
did.
here's the
Like,
thing, though. Here's the thing, though. As biased as they were, I remember them saying that Devin Haney definitively took the 12th round. So there's no way that anybody could say
yeah, they
Lomachenko
wild.
finished out strong because he didn't. He didn't. And it's like I told you in the messages, and like I was saying on Twitter, all Lomachenko brought to that fight was good footwork, flurries, and he had a couple of good moments. That was it. It's not like this was, saying Sean Porter versus Ugas. That was a robbery because everybody was
Yeah,
saying that. And mind you, I'm not even a fan of Ugas. Everybody was saying that for so long. I said, you know what? Let me go back and watch that fight and let me score it. And I got a 116, 112 scorecard for Ugas. That was a robbery. But this wasn't that lopsided. It wasn't because Devin Haney
facts.
to me was the more consistent, fighter throughout 12 rounds. You saw Lomachenko slow down. You saw Lomachenko wasn't doing what he was doing at first. He wasn't. And it was those rounds
Exactly.
5 through 9 where Devin Haney took over.
And
So
I was like, if
I don't want
he
to hear
let
this whole it's a robbery because most people anyway they didn't like
yeah.
Devin Haney in the first place.
Yeah, they have people like Shakur Stevenson because I didn't see it last night. But I watched it like earlier today. I saw this man walking, and then he was talking about it's a robbery. Bill Haney and Devin running away from me, and I'm like, I mean, I don't really know if that's true or not. I didn't see that part.
Well,
Of like the
they
whole
ran across
aftermath.
each other. I saw the video. So Devin Haney was walking
Mm.
out, and then I think Shakur was like, "You're not number one" or some shit like that. And then like Devin said like, "Yeah, I am" or some shit. And then he walked out. But here's my thing though: can you blame them for walking out? Because the whole stadium is booing them. And then on top of that, he
Yeah,
just like you said, he gave Lomachenko his props, and homie said, "You're not P for P. You're not that good, nigga. You lost,
exactly. This
but you lost though." Like, come on, like, yo, it brings me back to the Tony Harrison versus Jermell Charlo press conference. That nigga said, "Yo, you had 12 rounds to decide your own fate. You had 12 rounds to do it. And when the shit didn't go your way, you want to cry like a little fucking bitch, yo. You want to cry
And
like a broad."
speaking of that, I just watched the Lomachenko post fight press conference.
Mm-hmm.
This man was literally talking about my dad told me don't leave it up to the judges, but you left it up to the judges, and you didn't even do that much in the fight.
You
So how are
didn't
you
do that
gonna
much.
come here talking about I was robbed if you didn't even do that much? Like
Because let me
what?
tell you something.
That
But
doesn't make sense.
this is the thing with fighting though. And I don't know if you've ever sparred anybody, but the thing is, you won't
Yeah,
unless it's recorded, you're not gonna remember anything that happens. See, every time I spar somebody, I have to record it because if I don't, I'm only maybe gonna remember like that one significant shot that I hit him with, but like the moments in between that, I'm not gonna remember because you're all in the moment.
facts.
You're all in the moment. So of course he don't even know what happened in that goddamn ring. Of course he's not gonna know that because it's facts. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, there's a certain sportsmanship that you should have because I was never a fan of Lomachenko. Years ago, when I first got into
Yeah,
the sport, like in 2016, I started hearing his name. And then when I would see his record, he's like 11, 12 and 1 or some shit like that at the time. And I'm like, well, what's the big deal with him? For everybody to be hyping this man up, who has he beat? And then when I saw him fight,
yeah. People really liked him because I would say probably because of his showboat. To be honest, he reminded me of like
right.
Money Mayweather back in his prime. Well,
Yeah,
not in his
right.
prime, after his prime.
Against who? Against who? See, Floyd
Exactly. That's
Mayweather
what I'm
would look
saying.
good.
That's what
See,
I'm saying.
yeah, Floyd would look good against top tier competition. Who was Lomachenko fighting for people to be all hype about his showboat and stuff like that? If you're fighting a tomato can in a scrub, anybody can look good up against somebody that's whack. You know what I'm saying? Because it was the fight where he fought Guillermo Rigondeaux, and I was rooting for Rigondeaux, and it looked like Rigondeaux threw the fight. And I don't even think that fight went 12. I think the fight got stopped for some reason. I don't remember because it was so long ago, and I haven't seen it since. But I wasn't all that impressed with Lomachenko. And then the second time I saw him was when he lost to Teofimo Lopez. Right or wrong? Yeah, that was him, right?
Yeah,
because I don't really like Teofimo Lopez
either. Ain't throw nothing in there.
Yeah, but I wasn't impressed either. So for you to get that opportunity with Devin, they didn't even have to fight you. They didn't have to fight you. Because Devin's been calling him out for 4 years. Say that again?
Yeah, that's one thing I would say too, because Devin Haney, a lot of people, when Devin Haney was like early in his career, Tank early in his career, all these champions now or big names now, people were always saying that y'all ducking Loma, y'all don't want to fight Loma, but this man Haney fights Loma, and look what happens. Like, I mean, that's one thing I would just keep in mind. Everybody talks about someone scared of somebody, but when you fight them and they don't do something nothing, else. Now people talk about it's a robbery.
Yeah, it's something else. It's always because you know something, and tell me if you agree. Like, I always felt like stylistically, Devin Haney is probably like the closest thing we have to Floyd, right? And I even feel that way even more. Yeah, I feel that way even more outside the ring now because see, you're dealing with a guy that is fighting the people that people are asking him to fight, and then people still are not rooting for him. I don't remember the last time I've seen a fighter get so much hate on all sides of the spectrum. I was on Twitter. I see Regis Prograis say, "Oh, it was a robbery." I'm like, "Not you too." I was like, "Not you too." Like Caleb Plant had to come out and be like, "Yo, come on! Just because it was close and he took an L, that doesn't make it a robbery." Listen to Caleb Plant. He's a pro fighter. He would know.
Yeah. I'm seeing people like Ryan Garcia. I'm like, bro, Ryan Garcia, first of all, you should be worried about getting your rematch with Tank. You shouldn't even be watching this right now. You're not going to be lightweight champion anytime soon. Go worry about Tank, bro. Because the way you got dropped in that fight.
Yeah, let me tell you something about Ryan, man. You know, like just real quick. Like, the only reason why Ryan want to talk shit now is because he got lucky enough to start training with Derek James and shit like that. So now he thinks he's cool. Yeah, now he thinks he's cool and shit like that.
Spence coach.
Yeah, like that was his consolation prize. Because if I was Errol Spence and I got a phone call from Ryan talking about, "Oh, yo, can I train with you and Derek, man?" I would have told him no. Honestly, I would have told that nigga no. When I seen like that picture with him, Derek James, and Errol, I was like, "Oh, here we go." Like, all right, so now they're just letting anybody train down in Dallas now. Anthony, because I'm thinking like, yo, at least Derek James would be a little bit more picky with his fighters. Because I'm like, I don't really see, like, even to this day right now, I don't think Anthony Josh was a good fit for that gym. Okay. And then like Ryan, it's not a good fit, but it's a good look for them because these are championship level top tier fighters. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But back to what we're saying on anyway, it's like, if I could have given Lomachenko more rounds, I would have, because just because I was rooting for Haney does not mean that is going to affect the way that I score the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because I even sat there and I was like, you know what? Because after that 5-round stretch between rounds 5 or was it 4 or 5 round stretch between rounds 5 and 9, I was like, you know what? Let me give Lomachenko this round because I don't want motherfuckers to say that I was biased. So I gave it to him, and I still came up with 116, 112. And that's the same score that everybody's got a problem with. The only thing I will say, because apparently, and you tell me if you heard this, that Lomachenko's camp, they're trying to get like dispute the decision or some shit like that, just because one judge gave, which is probably by mistake, because one judge gave Haney round 10.
I didn't hear that exactly. I heard that they were going to try and appeal. But with that being said, though, I mean, that would be a very like childish reason to try and get an appeal just because of one round. You still lost the fight.
You still lost.
Like what?
You still lost, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like what was going on? And then a lot of the people with the saying that like Haney or Lomachenko was robbed, I feel like those people had the pre-assumption already or just didn't like Haney to begin with and wanted him to lose.
Or so Richardson Hitchens, because he got beef with Devin Haney. So you can't give me an honest assessment about that shit. As much as I respect Hitchens, I'm like, yo, don't talk about this shit because I know you don't like him. So of course you're gonna just jump on the angry lynch mob for Haney and say that he got robbed. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lomachenko.
Exactly.
Because it's the same thing with Shakur. Like, you're looking for that fight, and then in a stadium of a booing audience that's booing the guy that you want to fight, of course you're gonna pile on him.
He go pile on top of that.
Yeah, like of course that's what
No,
he's gonna
man.
say. Yeah.
And then I'm over here like, and I'll admit myself, I wouldn't say that I hated Devin Haney, but I definitely didn't like the couple things that like I messaged about. But even with that being said, I can't take away from his boxing skill. He was the better man on that night. And even with me wanting Loma to win, I mean, this man lost. He came in that bitch and lost. I can't really like I can't
Right.
say that Devin Haney lost on that.
Yeah, but yo, let me tell you something, man. Like, Lomachenko is not even good for the sport. Devin Haney is way better for the sport of boxing than Lomachenko is. Because let me tell you something right now. A Devin Haney versus a Shakur Stevenson fight is going to sell more than a Shakur Lomachenko fight, in my opinion. In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Devin Haney's undisputed, and he's been undisputed, and he's undefeated. So is Shakur. That's more of a blockbuster fight than Lomachenko. If you get what I'm saying, like,
he old, he barely be trying in the ring. Like, he just gotta go at this point.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
dude over here about to be 40 trying to fight these young guns and still losing. Like,
and then crying on top of that. Here? And crying in the freaking locker room because you lost to a guy that was 24 years old. Yeah. Like, when I seen that, I literally thought of Tony Harrison. I'm like, yo, somebody got to tell this man stop crying. Because at that level, first of all, I don't know anything about Lomachenko's upbringing or none of that, but I'm assuming that this man has had, like, you know, an amateur background, an extensive amateur background. So you've taken L's before. So you've already been there, done that, and you've lost before. It's not like this man was undefeated and this was his first loss. Like, no, this is your third loss, if I'm not mistaken. Was he crying when he lost to Teofimo Lopez? No.
Probably not, no.
Yeah, and it makes me like want to see what he said after he lost to him. Like, I wonder if he was as much of a sore loser then as he was last night. Because to me, that was.
Well, speaking of that, I think I heard somebody earlier say that Loma said that he thought he won that fight. I don't know if that's true or not.
But what, Teofimo?
Shit, bro, nah.
It's just delusional, man. Like, he's like, yo, I'm gonna quote Dillian White. Like, yo, he must be concussed. Like, yo, he must have been concussed.
Oh God,
he's not.
The uppercuts might have caught him.
Yeah, like he's not coherent at all. And to me, it's just like, yo, like, Devin Haney's undisputed, and I'm pretty sure if the opportunity presents itself for him to fight Shakur, he will take that fight. Devin Haney does not strike me as the type of guy that is going to duck. Lomachenko is. Because like, think about it this way. He's the type of guy that will clearly get beat and then will still say, I won. This is the same guy that didn't acknowledge Devin Haney 4 years ago. So I wouldn't put it past him to just duck. I wouldn't put it past him. Because what did Bill Haney say? He was like, yo, y'all talking all of this, but my phone ain't went off yet. So if you want that smoke, hit my phone, hit my line.
And you said it right about Haney not having to take the Loma fight, because everybody was talking about he was scared, but he took the fight. If he was really scared, he wouldn't even be fighting Loma right now. Like, I don't even know why people saying that.
It's bias.
It's just a bad argument on their part.
It's bias and ignorance, yo. Ignorance. Just say, like, because my thing is, for y'all listening, just say you don't like Devin Haney and then just leave it at that. Don't try.
That's what I'm saying. Just admit the truth.
Yeah, just don't make it about it was a robbery and stuff like that. Because if you know anything about boxing, if you know anything about scoring, then you would know Devin Haney won that fight. He won that fight. Because if it was down to the wire, like, all right, let's say if my scorecard was really that close, I'm talking about like a 1 round separation, then all right, sure. But once I was, because I was laying on my bed, and then once I was scoring the fight and I saw I was giving Devin 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, I said, yep, Devin's got it. I'm not even really worried like that. Unless he gets hurt and he gets stopped, I'm not worried about him anymore. Because Devin Haney's the type of guy that, like, he'll go 12 rounds. He might make some mistakes because he was getting caught, and I was worried a little bit. But once that gap was there, I was like, yeah, Devin Haney will be okay. Because what did I tell you? I said it'll be a majority decision minimum. That's what I said before the fight even started. I told you, I said majority decision or unanimous decision, because I trust Devin Haney to go the distance, because he's been hurt before. We've seen him get hurt before. And then what happened?
Yeah, against Linares,
Yeah, he stayed consistent.
But he still dug it out. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying, because Devin Haney is not, like, people talk about how Devin Haney doesn't have power, but that's not him. He's an outboxer. So for people's expectation to be like he's like Tank, they're not the same type of fighter. So he's a
And
12-round
even
guy.
with those people who say like Haney isn't a power puncher, I would challenge that idea a bit. I would say that he has some power. He just don't like to sit and plant his feet all the time. He likes to move out and, like you said, be an out boxer. Because we saw that when Loma tried to come in and disrespect, like Haney taught him a lesson and made Loma not want to really come in that
With
much.
that uppercut to the body. Yep.
Exactly.
Because I tweeted that. I tweeted that
Exactly.
like literally right in between those rounds. And right because I saw it. Because you know me, you see me spar. I saw it. I'm like, yo, if that was me, I would shoot the
Facts.
uppercut. I would try it. I would shoot the uppercut. And he started doing it. Not to the head, but to the body. And it worked. And it
And I
worked.
see one time where Loma even blocked it, and he still felt like I could tell he felt that
But yeah,
even
but you
when
know
he
what it
blocked it.
is? Yeah, because you know what it is? The application is different. So the way that Tank, saying, utilizes his power is different than Devin Haney. The application is different.
Yeah,
I don't know what this whole assumption is that everybody has to be this knockout artist. Everybody has to be a power puncher. Shakur Stevenson is not a power puncher either.
yeah, he really not.
He's not.
If being honest, he
Yeah,
really not.
yeah, when he fights Devin Haney, if and when that fight happens, that fight is going to go 12 rounds. It's not going to be I'm
Yeah,
not worried about either one of them getting stopped because I'll say even though and I'm going to say this too, even though you know what I'm saying, like I would give Shakur Stevenson the stylistic edge over Devin Haney and I think that Tank would probably beat Haney. That doesn't take away from his win last night because it's like everybody's bringing up
exactly.
Tank and Shakur Stevenson for like as a consolation prize for their boy losing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, no, they're irrelevant right now because Tank wasn't there and Shakur Stevenson, it's not his time yet to get that fight. Let Haney enjoy his win.
Yeah,
He successfully defended all his undisputed titles. Not everybody can do that. It's because people, it's like, to me, honestly, I feel like it's like a lack of respect for the sport and its fighters to a decent extent, in my opinion. It's disrespectful.
exactly. And then I don't think Haney. I, I don't know if he's gonna go up to 135 after this,
Who?
or not. If Devin Haney,
If he's going to go up to
if
140.
oh yeah, 140, 140.
Mm.
After this win, to be honest, like he could still stay down here and get the big fights, like with Tank, Shakur, and
Mm-hmm.
all that. But like you just beat Loma, who's basically the person that everybody's been saying everyone is ducking. Really, if I was to beat this dude, and then like we still got all these other people down here, I would be like, man, how about y'all go against Lomachenko first, and then we'll see what y'all talking
Since
about
you
with
want to
me.
talk all
That's
trash. Yeah, nah, facts. Facts.
exactly.
Facts.
Exactly,
Facts.
because I would be like, I'm the one who took this fight. Everyone's saying that I was ducking. I took the Loma fight. You know, y'all gotta do the same thing if y'all want to fight me. That's how I would be if I was Devin Haney,
But
to be honest.
but you know the thing is, people would just twist that around to try to say that
And
he
it'd
was
be
ducking.
still he ducking.
Like it's an excuse or some shit. Because here's my thing. Like I'll compare it to like when Jamal Charlo just before he moved up to 160. Everybody was saying that like I don't remember if they said he was ducking, but basically everybody said like wanted to see him fight Julian Williams. Because if he moved up to
Mm,
160 before fighting Julian Williams, everybody would have said he ducked Julian. So he fought him and then he moved up. Now, in this case scenario is like I would rather see like a Shakur Stevenson fight because he has a better chance of at least getting the decision than let's say with Tank. Because with Tank, Devin Haney can't stay there.
yeah, he
Like he
can't be
can't.
sitting on these punches like he was with
No, yeah,
Loma.
he he,
If you
he
want
can't stay
Williams
there.
Tank,
He can't stay there
yeah,
because especially because Tank is a southpaw like Lomachenko is. And like fighting a southpaw,
exactly.
there's certain things that you got to be on the lookout for, especially with somebody like Tank, because at that level they're setting traps.
Yeah,
They're already.
especially after watching this, like I was seeing Devin Haney get caught with a couple of hands. Now Lomachenko, he's not really a power puncher, and he don't really throw like looping punches. He throw a lot of straight
Mm-hmm.
punches, straight
Right.
lefts, and he was catching Devin Haney a couple times. And I just don't see Haney get caught by a looping left hand from Tank, because
From
Tank like to
Tank,
throw them
no,
looping
yeah,
shots.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's done. It'll be a wrap. It'll be a
yeah,
wrap. So that's why I'm like, if I was like his manager or promoter or something like that, I would say, let's take the Shakur Stevenson fight. And that really boils down to how easily he can make weight because making weight is not fun. And everybody knows like
exactly.
Devin is kind of on the bigger side of that of 135. You know what I'm saying? Even standing
Yeah.
next to, Lomachenko, he's a bit bigger than he is. So
And then another thing like people also don't understand is when you like naturally big and you cut down to these low weights, there's this thing called what's it called? Not spinal fluid, cerebral fluid, something like that. That's in your
Mhm.
brain that or that's in your skull. It protects the brain. So when you get punched, it's gonna move like your brain's gonna move around, obviously. But then that fluid kind of protects your brain from you
Mhm.
getting concussed and getting KO'd easily. But when you
Right.
cut down that weight, that fluid starts to go away. So Devin
Yeah.
Haney, like when people be calling him chinny and stuff like that, it's really because he has to deal with that problem of not having as much fluid in that area. So he's
Right.
really like, to be honest, challenging himself even more than these other smaller people in the division.
Right. But
So
who is even at 140 anyway though? Like who fights at one? Like
uh
no one really even talks about 140, bro. Like
yeah,
Regis Prograis
140
is
kind
there,
of
but
lame.
nobody
What is
talks
it
about
like?
him.
Keith Thurman.
Nah, because Keith Thurman's at 147. 140 is like
Oh
Regis
yeah,
Prograis.
yeah, he
I
is at
think what
147.
is Josh Taylor still at 140? I don't know.
Uh
The guy
I'm
because
not
he beat
sure.
Regis Prograis. Because I don't know too many people at 140 right now. And the ones that I did, if I'm not mistaken, they moved up. But nobody talks about 140 anyway. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I
Like
think
'cause
Mario Barrios fought Tank at 140, but I think he moved
he
up after
moved up
that.
and fought Thurman. Yeah, so he moved up.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, so if Devin Haney were to go there, who is he gonna fight? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like really 130. Yeah, because think about it from a business standpoint, 135 is still where the money's at. Because at least I would say, you know what? I would say I would fight Shakur. I would fight one more fight at 135, and that's Shakur. I would fight him,
Facts.
maybe Ryan
To be
Garcia.
honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. You know about Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia passing like the amateurs. I think they're like tied and stuff like that. I
Mm.
think Devin Haney should fight Ryan Garcia. I think he should do that too. To be honest,
I
as
don't
much
think
as
Ryan
Ryan Gar-
deserves a shot though. And Devin Haney
oh, he
would beat
definitely
Ryan.
don't. He
Well, as
definitely
a matter of
don't.
fact, nah, because with Derek James in his corner, I don't know. Because if Ryan was still training with was it Eddie Reynoso or whomever that guy was, I would say yeah, Devin Haney
Yeah.
beats him easily. But because you got Derek James in your corner, you got Arrow giving you tips. You train with, and he's lucky he's in the same camp with Frank Martin now because Frank Martin would wash him. So now that's off, yeah. So now that's off the table. So Derek James to me is the equalizer because as sloppy as Anthony Joshua is, you know what I'm saying? Derek James gave him some fundamentals. So I would say
hmm
Devin fight Shakur 135. That's what everybody wants to see because if you move up now, everybody will say that you ducked him, especially because he showed up in that ring. Fight him. If
Mm.
you want to fight Tank,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say
go
this.
ahead.
In terms of Shakur Stevenson and Ryan, I would say that Ryan Garcia is definitely the easier fight, but you right
Yeah.
about Derrick James and the training that he could give. But another thing I would say is that Shakur Stevenson is getting trained by Terrence Crawford and his trainers. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I just think that if Devin Haney, because we all saw like or I don't know if you saw Devin Haney sparring Shakur one time,
I did.
but
I did.
like he was just muscling him out, tiring him out. Devin Haney was to Shakur. Shakur was getting some shots in and stuff like that, but I think that if he lets Devin Haney just muscle him out and stuff like that, he's gonna lose to decision again. So or lose to
Yeah.
decision, I should say.
Well,
So
because here's the thing, because I'm gonna respond to that, but I'm gonna just say fight Shakur at 135, then move up to 140. If Tate still wants that smoke, you got to fight me at 140. I'm not fighting you at 135. That's what I would do.
facts.
That's what I would do. As far as
Exactly. That's
Shakur's
really good for Haney too.
yeah,
What you about
that's
to
the
say?
game plan. And if Devin Haney, you listening to this, do that shit. Do that shit. Do not fight Tank at 135 because it's better for Tank because he's a smaller guy.
That's
135
what I'm
is better
saying.
suited for Tank. Devin Haney is way bigger than him. As far as Shakur is concerned,
Did
no, go ahead, bro. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say another thing that Tank likes to do. He likes to drain people. So remember, I was talking about that fluid thing. He
Rehydration
does that
clause.
shit on purpose. So he would try to do that to Devin Haney, but
Yeah,
in Devin
yeah.
Haney case, he's the undisputed champion. So he shouldn't like begin drained by Tank. He
Yeah,
should make
that's what
Tank
I'm
come up
saying. He
like you
calls
said.
the shots. So if you want that smoke, if you
Facts.
want my name on your resume, you got to meet me at 140 because I'm not
Exactly.
after Shakur Stevenson. I'm not staying down there anymore because he's like the top guy, just like you. But that to me again is just more of a better style matchup for him. And then at least at 140, he won't have to worry about weight or none of that. And then it'll be a weight that he
hmm
grew into. But with Shakur, I feel like Shakur's style, it's not like it's like a perfect balance of like offensive and defensive. So even for me,
Yeah.
like I can't like it's hard to come up with a game plan against him. Like I would legit have to watch all his fights and then like watch them not for like rooting for him perspective, but from the opponent's perspective. Like, okay, what do I see? What would I do against him? You know what I'm saying? Because you know how like his footwork
Yeah.
is, he's like always inching in, but he's not really doing anything, but he's
Oh
constantly
yeah,
inching.
he
Yeah,
really good
like
with the probes.
yeah,
Yeah.
very good with that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so for him, that's why, like, I see like Devin Haney, he makes obvious mistakes. If Shakur Stevenson makes mistakes, it's not obvious. Like, let's say if Errol Spence makes mistakes, they're not obvious mistakes. It's not like, oh shit, I could exploit
Yeah.
him. Nah. Like these are like brief, momentary mistakes, but it's hard to say, okay, this is my game plan against Errol Spence. And Shakur Stevenson is a southpaw too. So this is what I'm
The
saying.
only one thing I know about Shakur that I wouldn't say is a very obvious weakness, but it's something that Haney could probably exploit after seeing this fight, is that when Shakur gets hits to the body, he likes to sit there and trade with you. So if Haney could set up them uppercuts to the body, like he was doing against Loma, because I actually think that Loma probably is a bit harder of a puncher or the same amount of have the same amount of punching power as Shakur. So if Haney could just sit there and trade to the body with Shakur, I think that'd be better than if he tried to stay on the outside. Because Shakur probably not gonna get hit by any of those shots, like any of those step jabs that Haney tries to throw. I think that he's gonna get out of the way of all that. So Haney gonna have to get in inside. As taller and longer as he is, those step jabs ain't gonna work. Because I noticed like
Yeah.
he tries to do that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so like that would just be another chess match, you know what I'm saying? But like let's
Facts.
say like cuz I don't like Tank Davis. Like I've been very vocal about that over the years. I do not like that guy at all. And in
His
fact,
fans are so annoying. Like him as a person, I wouldn't say I hate him too much. I would say I wouldn't say I like him, but his fans I hate. I can't stand his fans. I
it's
can't.
just it's just the whole Charlo thing that happened years ago. Like it just really like changed my perspective on
But
it.
what happened? What happened?
You didn't know what happened in 2000? It was
Nah.
2018 when he had beef with the. All right, so long story short, the Tank and Adrian Broner, they had like you know how they do those camp videos, like you know what I'm saying, like they're like
Yeah.
day in the life type shit. So they had one of them, and you could probably find this. Like just do like Adrian Broner Tank Davis camp, and then they were like eating breakfast or something together, and they said something slick
Mm.
about the Charlos. Like they said, like I've only seen it like once or twice, but they said something slick, basically like alleging or alluding to the fact that they do cocaine, like they snort cocaine lines and shit like that.
What the
Now,
fuck?
y'all said that. And the thing is, when you know Jamal and Jamel, you know them, when they responded, Tank and Adrian Broner try to act like they didn't say anything or they don't know why they wilding out. So when they got pressed at the Barclays Center, when Jamal was about to fight, who was he about to fight? He was about to fight. So I don't want to say Dennis Hogan. He was about to fight like a Centeno, some shit, Hugo Centeno, somebody like that. And then they didn't say anything. Remember, like look it up. Jamel was like, "Yo, like you a pussy. I'll break your
Yeah, I'm
nose.
gonna have to
You
see
want to
that.
talk about all of this shit, all of that?" Tank didn't say anything. Tank didn't say anything. Adrian Broner just stood there. He said nothing. Why? Because y'all were talking shit. We called you out. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had nothing to say. So to me, because
Yeah, I do be saying Tate do stuff like that. He
right,
did
because
that with
I met
Raleigh. He
people
was
like
talking
that.
about yeah, he was talking about Raleigh and his coach Bullet. He was talking about if this was real life, they would have been packing him up. I think you heard that in the press conference. He was like, they would have been packing him up. I'm like, bro. And then dude, the Bullet, Raleigh coach said, you ain't no gangster. Like, shut up. Like that shit
Yeah.
had me jumped out.
But long story short, it's like I know people like that in real life, or I knew people like that in real life. So that should just rub me, saying the wrong way. So when I watch like Tank, like I'm looking at him like from the opponent's perspective, like, okay, what can they do? What should he do? Like, I think for me, and I wanted to talk about this before, but I think the biggest mistake that Ryan made was chasing Tank around and making mistakes, because somebody like that, if you're not like a big puncher and he doesn't respect your power, you can't make any mistakes. You can't make
That's
any
what I'm saying.
mistakes. And I feel like the one who won't make any mistakes against Tank like that, because he already has a defensive cautious style, is Shakur Stevenson out of everybody, because he's not really wasting
Yeah.
a lot of like foot movement. He's not really an outboxer, like I wouldn't even know what like a style to classify him as. I could say like a boxer puncher, what I'm saying, maybe, because he's not an outboxer because he doesn't move around. He's not a slugger because he doesn't have a lot of, a whole lot of power. He's not a swarmer because he doesn't waste a lot of punches. So he's that style. I would say, yeah, he's a boxer puncher because he could do all of them, but he's not like a master at one particular thing. Like, let's say Tank
Yeah.
is, because Tank is a really good counter puncher with slugger power. That's why he was able to put away
Facts.
Rolly freaking Romero. That's why he was able to put away Ryan Garcia and shit like that, because he's got that counter, like he's like a combination of counter puncher and slugger.
One thing I would say with Shakur and not Shakur, Ryan Garcia and Riley, they were like you said it too. They were well, Ryan Garcia specifically was chasing Tank and opening himself up. Like one thing about Tank is that his defense is okay, but if you stay on the outside and you're throwing like right hands, straight right hands, he's gonna get hit in the face. We saw it with Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia was hitting him with clean shots in the face. The only problem was that Ryan Garcia was going to try and chase him with these left hooks
because he got confident.
Like
Because he got confident. That's
hook,
why.
Exactly.
He got mad
three
confident.
left hooks in a row.
Yeah, I went out
The
to go see that
about
fight.
boxing. Yeah, the important thing about boxing is after you throw a punch, you have to make sure to move your head out the way, because when you punching, you could get punched back. Right. And the fact that Ryan Garcia was throwing these 3 left hooks in a row without moving his head, he was asking to get countered. Like I don't know what people thought was gonna happen.
Because if you remember, he was roughhousing Tank. Like, so in the clinches, he was really roughhousing him, you know, really doing stuff, and then
throwing him around, shoving him around.
Right, which he should have. Which
and
that's
what Tank wanted to be. He wanted to be comfortable on the inside. He
right,
wants you to,
which was smart,
like,
though.
Hitting on him.
Yeah, because who really ever does that to Tank? That was actually a good idea. But the thing is, I'm not going to let those moments tell me, oh, get punch drunk and go after this guy. Because I know that he's good at getting guys who are overly aggressive with him. So that's why I said, like, with Tank, he's, to me, he is the best, like, stylistically, the best at 135. Why? Because fighting him, there's no room for error. There is no margin for error fighting this guy. There's no margin for error because he's southpaw and you're orthodox, he'll hit you with the punch that you don't see coming. And I can see that happening to freaking Devin Haney, because that happened to Rolly. Because I was like, yo, Rolly's a big 135 pounder too. I was like, well, you know what? Maybe he can probably
that's what I was saying.
Do a little something too. And then what happened? Got put away. Ryan, taller, because Tank made Ryan look mad tall. What happened? He got put away.
I will say that Haney is really good defensively. I will admit that too.
He makes mistakes,
as much as I talk about the ducking below the waist,
with, like his head getting snapped back and stuff like that.
That's straight up because he was not only was he walking into range, but Loma is actually pretty good at setting up his punches. He knows how to switch positions and he knows how to fight off that front foot. Now he don't fight off the back foot well. That's why I get pushed back a lot. But when he fight on the front foot well. Yeah, that's why he was catching Haney with them clean shots. But and I would say that's a testament to Loma's skill. But still, with that, like we know that Loma lost the fight. But I would say that Tank doesn't have as good a setup of shots that Loma does. To just because you see, like when Tank is fighting, he'll just have his hands up, glued to his face. He don't really be actively feinting and probing around like someone like Loma does. That's why Loma's hands are fast and loose. Tank, he got to charge up and he got to wait for you to come to him. So if Haney is not just sitting on the line with him, I think that Haney could outbox him because Ryan Garcia did it. Riley Romero, who is known for being slow and can't box, outboxed him. So I mean, he can set up his shots if you're opening yourself up to him, but he's not the type of fighter because we know that Devin Haney, he likes to be an outboxer and stuff like that. Loma is the type of person to set up his shots on people who don't want to fight him, who want to stay on the outside. Tank can't really do that. If you want to stay on the outside of him, he's just gonna really let you punch him and hope that you open yourself up, kind of like Canelo. He'll kind of just let you punch yourself out. But we saw when Canelo went against Floyd Mayweather not only punched him from the outside, but stayed on the outside. He didn't do no dumb stuff like just start punching and then stay in the same place.
He had a game plan.
Exactly.
A game plan that works at least. A game plan that works. I haven't seen Floyd versus Canelo in like a long time. So.
Facts. And then like with Raleigh, like I said, Raleigh, he's known for being like we would have seen him in a ring. He over here throwing dudes, shoving dudes and stuff like that on the ground. Kind of like a dirty style. Even he was outboxing Tank when he tried. So I mean, like, I think that if Haney fought the right fight against Tank, like if he don't just sit down and stay there too long, which he don't really do.
Man,
honestly, I think the only reason he did it against Loma is because he know Loma couldn't put him out with one punch. But I've seen Haney go against people like Linares, who's a pretty good puncher.
Right.
He did try and sit with Linares in round 10. He was getting comfortable. I ain't gonna lie.
You can't do that with Tank. You can't do that with Tank.
Yeah, I think with Tank, he's gonna be a bit more cautious.
I'm shaking my head. You can't see me, but like as you're saying that, like he could fight a good fight with Tank. Tank, I'm shaking my head because there are just some fights that like I think of that matchup and I'm just like, nah, because I already knew that Devin was going to beat Lomachenko. Like I already knew that. It's like, let's say like Spence versus Ugas. I already knew Spence was going to beat Ugas. Like even now, like let's say Spence Crawford, like I already have a good feeling that Spence is going to beat him. So when it comes to Tank, it's like Devin has to do everything perfect. Like everything has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And nothing is ever perfect. Like in boxing. Like you're going to make mistakes. Like, and the thing is like he has to have a game plan, like several game plans, like a game plan on top of a game plan. His adjustments.
Yeah, he have to have layers of that
on
ABC.
Point.
All that.
Like Bill Haney's instructions, his dad has to be on point. I'm talking about like if I make a mistake, and all right, so let's say if I'm fighting Tank and you work in my corner, right? And you my trainer. Yeah. If I make a mistake, don't be like, yo, come on, man, what are you doing? No, you better be boosting my goddamn confidence the whole entire time. You better be giving me game plan instructions. Do not deter my focus or my confidence whatsoever. Because you know how some trainers, they be doing that. Like their fighter go out and have a bad round, and then they come back to the corner like, "Yo, man, what you doing? You're giving up the fight, man. Yo, do better." Like you know what I'm saying? No, like... real instructions, real instructions. Everything has to be on point. I'm talking about like, yo, like I'm like, did you see Creed 3?
Nah, but I've been seeing all the promotion about it. I haven't watched it yet.
All right. So there's this thing like I guess they said, I don't know if they actually said it in Creed 3, but it's like everything got to be in slow motion. Like when you fight in Tank, you have to be that freaking focused. I'm talking about because he was really quick and he was like mad, you know, like he looked like a little like rodent rat, like just scurrying around, you know, when he was fighting Ryan Garcia. And I was like, yo, Tank is really fast.
Yeah,
I was like, he's quick. So that's exactly why it's like I'm like afraid for Devin. That's why I'm like, yo, don't fight him.
He got really good athleticism.
Yeah, he's good.
The weight change.
Tank was born to box.
Exactly.
He's doing what he's on this earth to do. So is Devin, but the thing is, at 135, that's not smart. That's like if let's say, because I'm 6'4", okay, and let's say if I were to actually compete in real life, I would probably be fighting at like 160, 168. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is, I'm not like a heavy dude, like at my height. Like if you know, like Alantez Fox, Michael Fox, like I'm around like their weight, but I'm probably like a little bit heavier. I'm a lot heavier than Michael, you know what I'm saying? Like where I walk around at. Yeah. But I would not, let's say if for some freaking reason, I don't know, like give me an example, like let's say if Keith Thurman would have challenged me, called me out or some shit, and he was like, yeah, why don't you come down to 147? I'm not fighting you at 147. I'm not doing it. Because even if I can't beat you, it's like the weight, all of that is just gonna be too much on my body. And then you know what I'm saying? Like it's just not smart. So with Devin, it's not smart. Like I would, if I knew him in real life and I was sitting with him and his dad, I'm like, yeah, guys, like, you know, if you want my advice, fight him at 140. 140. Do not fight him at 135. And the thing is, if you do, fine, but like just be prepared to take the L because the style
be prepared to get flatlined.
Yeah, just like, and mind you, I like Devin Haney way more than I like Tank. I just said, I'm like, yeah, I don't like Tank at all as a person. It's like if I was famous and then I went to one of the fights and they were like, oh, yo, Tank is over here. Do you want to go meet him? I'd be like, no. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Tank wants to say what's up. He saw you in that new television show, man. Yeah, that's okay. I actually got to go to the bathroom. You know, we got to go. So, you know, because what am I going to talk to him about? Like you see his interviews and stuff like that. This is not the sharpest tool in the set. I would rather, like, if I could hang out with somebody, like I wouldn't want to really hang out with Devin Haney, but let's say if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm gonna hang out with Devin Haney. I'm not gonna hang out with him. I'm not gonna hang out with freaking Tank.
Yeah,
but
Tank,
I will always give him his just due and his credit as the best at 135. I will say that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I will say, I think there's some people that could actually probably beat Tank at 135. I just got to see him go against Tank first. Ryan Garcia, I thought that fight was like 50-50 or close. And,
that fight was not 50-50. It was 65.
Yeah, the way that went
35.
Yeah. Like I thought if Ryan Garcia threw more right hands and stayed on the outside, it would be closer. But he obviously, knowing him, I should have known that this man was just gonna like throw 3 left hooks in a row.
But he's not as experienced.
Put his face in the way.
But that's too. It's like he's not, like, to me, he's not in the same space in his career and his personal development as a fighter as Tank is. So even me, I felt like it was too early anyway. Because Devin,
one thing I will say is that what you was about to say?
No, I was gonna
Oh,
say Devin has more experience than Ryan does. So I'm not gonna say a
yeah,
lack of experience is why Devin Haney would lose to Tank. He would lose to Tank because he's just a better fighter. Tank is better than Ryan, but also he has way more experience than he does. So Ryan didn't really have that much going for himself other than a puncher's chance or a chance to land the left hook, which he never landed, by the way. So you know what I mean?
yeah. I think he, like I said, I think he had a better chance at landing those because when he threw them right hands, it would just hit Tank clean in the face, and then Tank wouldn't react at all. Like he reacts very poorly to orthodox people throwing right hands at him. But Ryan Garcia didn't keep that up, and every time he threw a right hand, that's when he could have fouled it up with the left hook. Because
Ooh.
when Tank fought against Riley Romero,
Uh,
the same way Riley Romero got knocked out or dropped, like he threw a right hand and then he tried to throw like a left hand on Tank and Tank caught him in between.
yeah.
If Ryan really wanted to like interact and land that left hook, that was the only time he could have landed it, to be honest. But even then, he was still gonna be well, I wouldn't say he was gonna be in line to get hit. Because when he throws that right hand, then throw that left hook, he move his head out the way. So that's probably the best, even though it looks like an offensive and like very committal thing. If he would have done that to the Tank, I feel like he would have had a much better chance of winning
Right.
than just throwing the left hook raw. Like that was stupid.
But you
In my
know
opinion.
something? I just thought about that, and I literally only mentioned him a couple of times. Frank Martin would give Tank that work too. He would, because
And you know who else get Tank that work, bro?
stylistically,
Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz get. To be honest, most people think Isaac Cruz beat Tank because he didn't hurt Isaac Cruz.
I gotta
Isaac
watch
Cruz
that
was
fight
blocking
again.
everything.
Yeah, I would have
Yeah,
to watch that again because I don't even think I've seen that fight because I don't like Tank. So
like Tank literally, I think he said he broke his left hand. That's why he was just using his right hand. And like I think like after round 5, something like that. But he was just throwing jabs and they was getting blocked by Isaac Cruz. And then Isaac Cruz would come in range. He would throw a right hand. Well, he would throw, a right hand, then a left hand. And this man Tank stumbling, getting hurt and all this. I'm like, bro,
I
how
gotta
did
watch
y'all
that
see
fight
Tank
then.
winning that
I
fight?
gotta watch that fight because maybe he probably got exposed. But was that the fight where he put him away with the right uppercut? Was that him? Like,
No,
because
no, no, no. That was
there was a
nah,
guy I don't
that fight
remember who
went
it was.
to decision.
Oh no, because
You talking about Leo Santa Cruz, I think. You talking
probably
about when Tank had
yeah
that highlight uppercut? Yeah.
yeah,
But
and he was like
Isaac
positionally.
Cruz went the distance with Tank, and people were saying he beat him.
I'm gonna watch that fight now. I'm gonna watch that fight, but I feel like
Yeah.
Frank Martin, like the way that he fights is actually kind of similar to Tank, except Frank, he's not like a power puncher per se, but he's sharp. He's
Mm.
sharp. The way that he beat Michelle Rivera, he made Michelle Rivera look basic. Basic. So if he fought Tank, in my opinion, I think all Frank really needs is more experience. But because Frank, he's like 27, 28 years old. He's like my age. So if he gets to if he gets to that point where he's got enough names under his belt where he can get that opportunity, I feel like he can win. And he's got Derek James in his freaking corner. And he's got Errol. So and
Yeah.
he's got Ryan in his freaking camp who can tell him, yo, this is you know what I'm saying? It's like if you fighting somebody
Facts.
and you got a fight coming up next month and I fought them already, who better to give you tips than me? Because I went in there with them. So I can tell you, yo, look out for
Exactly.
this, look out for that, in addition to the game plan that Derek James has already given you, in addition to the experience that you've already accumulated over your whole entire life. So if anybody can do it, in my opinion, other than Shakur, that I would put money on, if I was a betting man, it would also be Frank Martin. It would also be Frank. Because I like Frank.
Yeah.
I like him.
I would definitely go for that Isaac Cruz v Tank rematch too. Because to be honest, like as much as Tank like that, because I don't know if Tank said it or somebody in his team said it after they beat Ryan Garcia, but they were talking about a rematch. I was like, if y'all was so confident going against Ryan Garcia, why did y'all not ask for a rematch against Cruz? Especially with the way that fight ended. Everybody was saying Cruz won that. If people thought Tank was really like that, he should have took that match. And another thing is because of how small Isaac Cruz was, he didn't really have that problem with that
Yeah, he's
fluid thing
5'4".
that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
five foot
exactly.
freaking four. Yeah, he's tiny.
Exactly. So when Tank would hit him, yeah, he like Isaac Cruz would feel the impact on like his gloves, but not only is he blocking it, but and he got a big head too. I ain't gonna lie, he got a big ass head. But with that being said, though, like his fluid not gone. He's healthy at that weight. And I feel like Tank, a lot of the time, his team does it, they put in a contract that you can't fuel up too much after the fight. You got to cut down and then fuel up in a certain amount of time. It's really taxing on your body. And for someone like Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia, Riley Romero, these people who are like pretty big for the weight class, it's
Mm.
priming them to get KO. Even with Mario Barrios, like who's fighting against people like Keith Thurman, he had like Errol Spence and all them weight division. He came down and was severely drained. Like everybody could see it. One punch, this man flying around and stuff. I'm like, bro,
Barrios.
come on. Yeah.
Mm.
I'm like, bro, like Tank needs to fight somebody that's gonna be healthy, bro. You got to stop draining these dudes. This ain't fun to watch.
Yeah, but again, like you can't put like the underhanded shit like that, like past a motherfucker like him, okay? Because this is exactly why I don't
Yeah.
like him. Because to me, if he was a real nigga, because to me, I feel like he probably would have beat Ryan without the rehydration clause, in my opinion. He might not have stopped him like that, you know what I'm saying? But I think it probably would have been a later stoppage. Because when did he stop him? Like round 5 or some shit? Like it wasn't even that long to the
I think
fight.
it was like round 7, a
Yeah,
body
like
shot.
mid, but it wasn't super late. It was like in the middle of the freaking fight. Yeah, but I still think he would have won anyway. But it's like but that just shows like a lack of confidence to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? But that's just thing. That's just who he is. That's why I don't like him. You know what I'm saying? I respect him. I respect him. You will never hear me say he's a bum or he's trash, but no, I don't like him. And then he gives you plenty of excuses, you know what I'm saying, to dislike him. So, I was never really a fan. I was like, he had like a blue blood claim on came on his what was it? It was like an interview that he had, some shit, like some podcast. And then all Blue Blood said was, oh, I think Devin Haney could beat you. He said the only people that I think could beat you is Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, and yourself. And then he got all offended. I'm like, nigga, like it's just his freaking opinion.
He giving you compliments. Like, what?
Yeah, like it's just his opinion, but that just goes to show, like, just the type of saying, like, niggas he is. Like, on top of it, like I said, I'm 6'4". Like, what the fuck I look like hanging out with a motherfucker that's like 5'6" and shit like that. How tall are you?
I'm about like 5'9.5", 5'10".
Well, at least you're not 5'6". Okay, at least I say you average height. Yeah, at least I say you average height.
5'6" would be crazy.
Yeah, at least you say you average height. You know what I'm saying? Because you're taller than a tall woman. So I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? Him, he's shorter than a tall woman, was considered to be a tall woman. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. I'm
saying Megan Thee Stallion walk up to him, can't really take him too seriously. Or Tory Lanez, like, that shit goofy.
And then, just to end everything off, I definitely want to read this shit because I don't know if you've ever saw like my reaction to like the Will Smith Oscar slap shit, but I've always had a great deal of respect for Stephen A. Smith. All right. And in fact, I've always watched more of ESPN First Take to learn about what's going on in basketball than actually watching the games they themselves. But this nigga, Stephen A. Smith, literally want to come on Twitter. And I don't know if you've seen it, but he was like, this Haney versus Lomachenko fight was a damn good one. I honestly don't know who won the fight. It was that close. It's one of those fights.
It's like Stephen A. Smith. One thing I would say, remember we was talking about Joe Rogan and how casual he is? Stephen A. Smith is like that for basketball. I'm going to be honest with you. When Stephen A. Smith comes on First Take and he gives like his recollections of things that's going on, first of all, he's either going to just be repeating some non-really important statistics from a game or something like that, or an overall composition of a season, or he would just use these things. It's a debating term or a philosophy term. It's called ad homs. Is when you attack somebody's character and stuff like that, or try to make fun of them in order to validate your argument. Stephen A. Smith does that a lot. He'll be like, "What? Are you crazy? Are you like?" He does that a lot.
I like him, but when he gets to talking about boxing, I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Honestly, because how you gonna say
you saw his sparring footage or not his sparring footage? Him
hitting the mitts. Like, you don't know anything about boxing. Yeah, like we all seen that. Like, yo, come on, bro. And I said that in my Will Smith reaction, but I'm gonna finish it. And he said it's one of those fights that if it ended in a draw, I honestly can't be mad. So you just said that you don't even know who won the fight. Then right after that, he said, "Oh, that's a BS decision. Haney may have won, but it was barely. There should not have been a 116, 112 score or 115, 113 call. It was that close." Like, bro, what are you talking about? You don't know how to freaking score a fight. Because the thing is, what was it supposed to be? 115, 114? Scorecards don't work like that. Stupid. Like, yo, come on.
He's the same dude that was trying to hype up Jake Paul and talk about Jake. Well, actually, I will say that he was saying that Jake Paul ain't fought nobody. I actually take that back. Of me saying that he was hyping up Jake Paul. He was one of the people saying that Jake Paul ain't fight nobody. I ain't gonna get on him for that. But the other things do still hold true though.
Yeah, and then Kendrick Perkins said the same thing, and I'm like, yo, stick to basketball, stick to them other sports, but boxing, because you know what's funny? You know what I was saying? I was like, yo, they try to score boxing the way that they score UFC. Like, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. They're like, yo, you land one good punch, that means you won the round. Just because, like, it was funny. Like, I've gotten that with like niggas that I've sparred. You'd be surprised. It's like I spar these niggas, and then like they'll be like, oh well, you know, I got you back too. I'm like, nigga, you landed one punch. It's that. You see, and you seen my sparrings. You seen them shits.
Yeah.
And then they'll literally turn around and try to act like they did something because you landed one punch. But I'm like, in boxing, it doesn't work like that, dog. It doesn't work like that. So to me, it's like really like, honestly, I feel like us as boxing fans, we really got to gatekeep. And I be trying. I really be trying to gatekeep on niggas. Because the thing is, when you let casuals like get to talking and all of that, it like waters down like the culture. Like the
exactly
science. Like it waters that shit down. Like, I honestly, I would feel better if like not everybody were to talk about this shit. Like, I like the fact that like boxing is a niche sport. You only ever see them talking about it anyway when it's like the top guys, like Tank, Deontay Wilder, freaking Ryan Garcia, Errol Spence, like the top people. But let's say if it's like a lesser fight,
and that's one reason I was glad that Ryan Garcia lost. That was one. And to be honest, I was rooting for Ryan Garcia at the beginning. But then I just thought about, I was like, you know what, let me think about what Ryan Garcia did in the past. He be talking trash about every other boxer. He invited a whole bunch of casuals to the sport. He just does like mid work for like 30 seconds and post it as like a story or a highlight reel, and that gets him like followers of views. Like he made collabs with Jake Paul and Logan Paul. I had to really think about all that and be like, do I really want him to win? No.
Oh, Ryan, right? Because
he got casual fans, like no.
Yeah, because no. But the thing is, like it's like a double-edged sword because on one hand, like to have casuals like fuck with you, it's good for the sport because then the viewership is higher, the numbers are higher, and then it bolsters up the business of boxing. But at the same time, it's like these narratives that people create when Haney, you know, saying defends all his belts up against arguably one of the best 135 pounders ever and shit like that, and then everybody's calling it a robbery. But let's say they weren't watching freaking Tony Harrison versus Tim Tszyu. I didn't hear anybody talking about that fight. Like, they don't know. You see what I'm saying? Like these really good fights, people are not talking about it. I didn't really hear people talk about Jermell Castano, you know, 1 and 2. I didn't hear people talk about Jermall versus Montiel, you know what I'm saying, years ago. You feel what I'm saying? And I bet you,
facts.
Like I bet you.
And then Ryan Garcia, like he, yeah, we know how like he was just talking trash about Devin Haney yesterday, talking about how Lomachenko really won that fight and it was a robbery. I'm like, bro, and like I already said this earlier about Ryan Garcia need to be worried about that rematch, but it's like Ryan Garcia shouldn't really have an opinion on the situation because it's like you're not at that level yet. You have to be worried about coming up, and then you can worry about who won this. Like, yeah, you can have your outside of the ring opinion, but I feel like he's bringing like all his fans because he tweeted this out on Twitter. I don't know if he posted on Instagram too, but he has a lot of followers on both platforms. So when you say shit like that, it's gonna push that narrative, and
people gonna really go with it. Most people, because they don't know better, they're gonna go with it because they don't know any better.
Exactly.
That's the majority of people. That's the majority of people.
It's just sad to see.
No, I mean, but you know, saying it is what it is because you'll never see me, you know, talk trash about like basketball players and stuff. What do I know about basketball? So I'm not gonna say, oh, this and that. I don't know. I don't watch it. I'll tell people like if I talk about basketball or something, I'll talk about Michael Jordan or something because I know a thing or two about him. But I openly tell people, yo, I'm a casual, so don't you're wasting your time talking to me about basketball. Like, I watch First Take. And even lately this year, I haven't really been watching it like that. So, you know what I'm saying? But most people, they'll literally try to talk to you about like your sport, like what you really, you know what I'm saying, what you really about. Especially me, like I train, like I'm about that shit. I was training yesterday, and then I saw this dude who he's like a kickboxer, and it was me and Adrian, like the last nigga that I sparred. It was me and him. He did a workout with me. And then I seen this dude that was hitting the bag, and he's good. And I was like, yo, you trying to spar? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm about that shit. Like I gave him his props and he's in the bag and he gave me mine. I'm like, eventually, you know, we're gonna do something, you know, maybe in like a month or so. You know what I'm saying? I'm about that. So I hate when people try to talk to me about like this shit that like I study, I practice it, I train it, I live it. You know what I'm saying? I'm an actor and everything like that. But I have a passion for boxing that people don't understand. I'm like, I could actually, like, let's say if I was into boxing like back in the day, the way that I am now, shit, I have the passion to train for it. But the difference between me and somebody like Ryan Garcia is I wouldn't be much of a trash talker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do all my talking in the ring. I wouldn't even, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was Shakur, I wouldn't even have said all of that. If I was Ryan, I wouldn't even have said all of that. I would have been like, you know what? They would have asked me like, so what do you think of the fight? Do you think that he got robbed? I would have been like, look, both of them, you know, true warriors, true champions. They put on a great fight, stuff like that. And then hopefully, you know what I'm saying, I can get that fight with Devin down the line. That's it. That's it. Because to me, that's how you get the fights. Like, because I've seen that you don't always get fights by disrespecting somebody. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna make it happen any faster. AKA Demetrius Andrade. Like, the way that he was constantly always talking trash about the Charlos, that actually made it harder for him to get that fight. Because he even said, he was like, yo, he had to DM Jamal and then get his number. And then he said they chopped it up on some respect. I was like, it should have been like that the whole entire time.
Thanks. And then you got people like Shakur, like I said, I feel like he just wanted Loma fans at that night. He wanted those fans. He saw what was going on.
Yeah.
Just take advantage of it.
Just like how he wanted the Puerto Rican fans, and he walked out with like a Puerto Rican flag one day, but Shakur Stevenson is freaking black. You know what I'm saying? But that's a conversation for another time. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Please be sure again to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Appreciate you, LeVar.